Good morning, everybody. Shalom. First, we need to set up our motivation. Why we are gathering here is not to enjoy the New Year party. Actually, yes, why not? To how to start the new year with a new motivation, new way of thinking, becoming stronger. So we need this. So I first wanted you, myself, and all of you to ask yourself why you are here. And then the only reason that I can think of is we are here to find a peace, to how to control our own mind, and actually how to become a better person. So then we can start our journey within our family in this world. How much there is a problem, that you stand strong and try to benefit others. That's our goal. So please think this.
אז קודם כל, כשאנחנו מכוננים את המוטיבציה להיום, אנחנו נמצאים פה היום, לא כדי ליהנות מחגיגה של ראש השנה האזרחית החדשה. ואם אנחנו כן, דרך אגב, נהנים מחגיגת ראש השנה האזרחית החדשה, אז למה לא? בכל מקרה, כדי לפתוח את השנה החדשה, לפתוח אותה, אפשר לומר, בחוזקה, בעוצמה, אפשר לשאול את עצמנו, קודם כל לומר לעצמנו, אני יכול לעשות את זה, אני יכול לעשות את זה עבורי, ועבור זולתי, וקודם כל אנחנו יכולים לשאול את עצמנו, כל אחד ואחת מאיתנו, מה אני עושה פה היום? רימפוצ'ה אומר שהסיבה היחידה שהוא יכול לחשוב על כך שאנחנו פה היום, מה שאנחנו צריכים לחשוב עליו, שאנחנו רוצים למצוא את המפתח, את הדרך לשלוט על תודעתנו. וכמובן גם להפוך להיות אנשים טובים יותר. ואנחנו מתחילים את המסע הזה, קודם כל בהכרה בכך שיש קשיים או בעיות שאנחנו חווים, לא רק במסגרת האישית שלנו, גם ברחבי העולם. ולנוכח הבעיות האלה אנחנו רוצים להישאר איתנים, להישאר חזקים. לא רק להישאר חזקים או איתנים, אלא גם להביא תועלת לעולם. זאת סוג המחשבה, שאומר שאפשר להשתמש בה כדי לפתח את המוטיבציה הזאת.
And then there will be quite few people online, and I'm sending greetings to them. Sometimes I always forget the online people. So greetings to them too. Now, on this trip, Dhamma Friends of Israel requested me to give the teaching on three principal aspects of the path, which is one of my favorite texts. A reason is it's very short, very convenient. And then it is so profound, actually. So and then so now we have today and tomorrow, and then so when I give the explanations to you, so then make sure that there are some points that you don't agree with me. So then we can discuss well. So whatever I say, and you listen, and then say like, okay, then there's not much kind of discussion. So I want you to, because even I am practicing that, there are so many things, it is not comfortable for me to understand. Why Buddha is saying like this? Why this Lama Tsongkhapa is saying like this? I have lots of questions and doubts. But then, whenever I have this kind of question, when I go to my teachers, so then discussions really helps me a lot to understand. And sometimes I feel like, wow, that question really opens something. Otherwise, if I feel like, yeah, it sounds okay, I believe it, sometimes it is kind of a sign of a laziness. So I wanted you to keep this in mind, and then we will have a question and answer session also.
ראשית, אני רוצה לומר שלום לאנשים שהצטרפו אלינו בזום, או לפעמים שוכח לעשות זאת. בכל מקרה, ידידי הלמה בישראל ביקשו מרינפוצ'ה ללמד אותנו פה את שלושת ההיבטים העיקריים של הדרך. וזה אחד הטקסטים האהובים על רינפוצ'ה. אחד הסיבות לזה הוא שהטקסט עצמו קצר, הוא גם נוח ללמד. הוא מכיל נקודות מעמיקות בעצם. אנחנו נבלה יומיים בלימוד הטקסט, בקריאת הטקסט הזה, היום ומחר. וכאשר רינפוצ'ה יסביר את המשמעות של הטקסט, הוא מבקש מאיתנו לוודא שאנחנו מוצאים בטקסט ובהסברים של רינפוצ'ה כמה נקודות שלא מתיישבות אצלנו טוב, כאלה שאנחנו לא בדיוק מסכימים איתם, כדי שנוכל להביא את הנקודות האלה לשיחה בינינו, לדיון עם רינפוצ'ה. מאחר שלפעמים כשאנחנו מקשיבים לשיעורים, אם אנחנו מרגישים שמה ששמענו זה בסדר, וזה מסכימים, מה שנאמר, זה לא פותח הרבה מקום להתדיון. אין ממש מה להתדיין. רינפוצ'ה אומר שזה קורה גם לא, שהוא מקשיב לשיעורים, אם הוא מסכים עם כל מה שנאמר. במיוחד פה יש נקודות שהן מסובכות, נלקחות מהשיעורים של הבודה, נמצאות בשיעורים של ג'ה Tsongkhapa, צונקפה. אז אם הוא מסכים עם מה שנאמר, בלי לחשוב על הנקודות, למצוא איזה נקודות שהוא לא מסכים איתן וכולי, אז אין ספקות שעולות בדיוק. אכן יש ספקות, אז בפגישות שלו עם המורה שלו, מביא את הספקות האלה לדיון מדיין עם המורה, וזה עוזר לו לפתח הבנה של דברים שהוא לא חשב על לפני, זה פותח במובן מסוים צוהר לתובנות חדשות. אם מה שאנחנו מקשיבים לו, אם מה שמקשיב לו, נשמע בסדר, במחשבה אני מאמין, פותח במה שנאמר, זה סימן מסוים לעצמות. אז אנא חישבו על זה, שבו על זה בכתבכם. אנחנו גם נשאיר מספיק זמן לשאלות ותשובות בסוף, כדי שנוכל לעבור.
이진을 주니? 사면 요르베.
Simon.
오케이, 나서. 올라서.
The legendary Simon.
다 벽에 남는 되고임. So in I will now speak in Tibetan language. I'm switching the language because I know I don't have a strong confidence. Now, when I start giving teaching, I have a Simon and Yaki. I'm in good hands. That 당보 ranzuda jige chö chebi kulungdela 당보 ngebardo 아니 sanji chumdendegi 아니 chö chegi kulung nangdode kulung mangbu shibu juyebe 나는 kulung 나는 초도 줘봐데 아니 chöle mendabe dushiji ge고 레스지 송 달러 chöle mendabe dushiji ge발라 년로 소소리야 내바다be dushij면나 chöle mendabe dushide 남이 게도 말이스 아니 디인도 고 men자치마치세야데 고 수국이 아니 나자들이야 자라 가수 샤기요메 디 하고 고였나 신식이 현재장가 고 되서 뜬중 거 터네 아니 알아줘 다 최최세야도 또 최래하게 삼바디 아니 알아줘야 아니 하다 알아줘 심규디 아니 미시바다 몽바 아니 라바도 미시바다 몽비 왕기 아니 지금 알아줘기 삼로당당 망부 지금 먼지부터네 셈 부수타고 아니 지기 가나 가추주 두나 두추주 엔베슈 지기 잠마시부 점불린다 용돼야 돼 아니 삼로군 조당지기 알아줘기다 투비 깽기 연구여바디 문진야고 알아줘다 톱톱이나 아니 알아줘 신의 최지 최고 써야 되네 삼로도 장부십지 그래서
And so, firstly, at the beginning of our studies and here of the retreat, and we have to bring to mind our motivation for why we wish to engage in the Dharma practice, and we have to be sort of very clear and definitive about that. And in terms of engaging with the Buddha's teachings. And the way of practicing those teachings and the way of engaging into those teachings with our motivation, there are many different kinds of ways to draw our motivation. But one of the best forms of motivation, or perhaps we could say perspective, in relation to this, is to think of the teachings of the Buddha, the Dharma, as being like a medicine. This is probably the most supreme method of or perspective of engaging with the teachings. So thinking of the Dharma teachings as like a medicine. But then if we're not able to actually recognize ourselves in that analogy, if we're not able to recognize ourselves as being a patient, then it really won't make much difference how great the medicine is said to be. If we don't understand how important the medicine is and how, what the important effects of that medicine are and how it works. And so there's a sort of dependent sort of relationship here between understanding ourselves as a patient and understanding the medicine of the Dharma, which will help us to cure our disease. And so then this will give us a much clearer perspective on how to see how and why we are seeking out the Dharma. And understanding that, and this involves understanding the way in which our mind sort of misunderstands things, doesn't know things, and is clouded in ignorance. And these forms of lack of understanding and ignorance then cause us to create many kinds of different thoughts, many of which lead us to unhappy states, and also to a kind of extremism where everything is either the worst of the worst it's ever been, or it's the most incredibly happy we've ever been. But and so this is a sort of common situation which people throughout the world suffer. This is the way of the world, and so it's very important to identify this mistaken kinds of mind, this mistaken ways of thinking, and then connect that our situation there as being a patient in need of help with that to the benefits that the medicine can provide. And then we have a very sort of clear and honest perspective about how to engage with the Buddha's teachings.
Okay. So through my experience, I maybe can say this, like I time to time give some teachings, so then I always get two types of students. One student is more like how much we discuss, then he has some kind of a, this is Dharma, and this is my life. And how to settle this Dharma is, okay, I know, but this is my personal life. How to deal with that? How much I try to explain, it's connected, but it's not getting it. Some students come with like, I had enough, so now please help me to get out from this suffering. So then tears will come out. Then they would just listen, and even the teacher like myself is not highly realized and such a great practitioner, but how much I try to, with genuine this mindset, I try to give best kind of advice or guidance to them. They are getting so much. Sometimes I feel jealous. So then also when I listen to my teacher's teaching, so sometimes I ask a question like, why Buddha is saying this, why this great person is saying like this, more like the general knowledge. But sometimes I can't go with this set of mind like, I urgently needed this. So it's so personal, this way of thinking. So then I try to look into teachings, and then I try to bring this question to my teacher. So the whole day it sets my mindset very strongly. So similarly, I will strongly recommend that when we listen to the teachings, so we shouldn't listen like how you listen in university lectures. It's not to Dharma is not to find a job. It's more to how to become a much stronger from inside. So you need to the example and the meaning should be put it together. So this I'm saying through my own experience. This one. All of oh, that didn't really shut. Then the didn't you do some better? Tang around the church can reach Chevy in a ane around the Nyomol Cabde Chot of a chick. Any Havado Nyomong Zawadelia, Dungzin Sage, Taddy, Shul Gajimre, and Dungzin Cabde Chot. Church contingent number San gave it a church Jikin Chinchilla, Dilo Cabde Chowaji, Chet Tobaji, or Gugioris. That deemed do and around the Kujichibush Jori, Sandy Jumden Digi, that church contagious song by in. That Tamjek around Zugi, and Numo maybe Suechedo, song by Shadar S. I'm judging to the Digi, Sunguyorella, that under the Din Lamzunum Sung, Gotaran Ganglia, and the Jermchi, Labjet Nangri.
So then taking what was just been said into account, and when we're thinking about that, whatever kind of Dharma practice that we are doing, whatever it is that we do as Dharma practice, we have to ensure that that Dharma practice challenges, takes on the mental afflictions, and particularly that that Dharma practice helps us to challenge and take on and try to eliminate the root of the mental afflictions, which is self-grasping. And so, in fact, it's said that whatever teachings were spoken by the Buddha, all of the teachings that the Buddha spoke of have to have, sorry, not have to have this defining characteristic that they are able to help us to eliminate the mental affliction. So this is a statement of tremendous importance that all of the Buddha's teachings, whatever the Buddha spoke, was for the single purpose of helping us to eliminate the mental afflictions. And now at the start, as we come to the start of the text that we're studying here today, the three principal aspects of the path by Lama Tsongkhapa, then here in the beginning of the text, he will give us some advice in relation to this.
다 베나 슝딜이야 직세위나 람게 조어 넘버 숨 시제 다 아란저 여기 패진 람게 자와 넘버 숨 나누는 만두비기 다 상계기 최디 패진 맵선으로 지레 대이도 잠베 콜라야 자와세야도 조우세야티 고 차단들이 다디 나로리아 베나 지름치기 다단다 지준 라마 남의 차철로 세야디 다 소소리야 신도네 단다 딘지게 지게 랑게 자와 넘버 숨기 아니 그 소래 초화던 제베 토네 아니 지름치 그런리야 딘지게 송주 센시 아니 귤이 칠럽주야데 라마 다 라마리아 때는 충분히 인자 라마 남의 차철로 쓰지 송거리 다딩이 슈리아 차란주 양 만제비체지 남존 차상 차차비 슈라 에앤디 지존 라마 남의 차 첼로세기 삼로디 슈테 슈체리그리디 슈굴 만제비체지 알 텐수당로치 다테네 개체슈데 데나로리아 제름부치기 아니 다 셰버 탐자바 땅에 드린디 가르친 시기인 시 좀센디 가르도스나 아니 예외 송럽군지 닝베트스 예외 송럽군지 스도다 산기 좀 된디기 아니 송 차장기 닝부 된디 가르레스 망보지 송고에 된다 가르레스 배낭 알아줘 지기 렉처르지 년베네 추수 송시지 년자위 수고라 아니 아주 다 추수 송지 년베기 된다디 가르레스 세순로지 딘지기 닝부기 된세 디레도 와다 년디 주준다.
And so here, at the as we now take a look at the text, the three principal aspects of the path by Lama Tsongkhapa, and then we see here, as is mentioned in the title of the text, that there are three kind of main routes. Lama Tsongkhapa is describing the entire range of Buddhist teachings and sort of subsuming them down into three main practices or points and three main routes, and I think that there was probably nothing within the whole canon of the Buddha's teachings that does not subsume down into these three essential points or routes. And then the very first line where he pays homage at the start of a text, there is always a homage, and here we have the homage to the most venerable teachers. So here, Je Rinpoche is expressing in a very strong sort of personal feeling. He's paying reverence or respect and homage to his gurus, his masters, for the teachings that he has listened to from them and the blessings that have come from listening to them, and all of that blessings and understanding that have come from that, and all of that has been transmitted and come to him from the gurus. So therefore he mentions right at the beginning of the text the homage to the venerable teachers, or the venerable gurus. And at the end of the text, we shouldn't forget this point, because when we finish the whole text, we will have a sort of stronger understanding of what that of the tremendous feeling that line actually contains. And I will remind us that when we finish the text to go back to that first line and bring that strong feeling of gratitude to the teachers. So the first verse of the text is to explain why it's often called a promise to of composition, or a promise to explain why he's written the text. And here it says in the first two lines, I shall explain here to the best of my ability the essential points of all the scriptures of the conqueror. The first two lines. And this is sort of why, looking at why the essence of all of the Buddha's teachings.
디기 된다 치도레스 디기 된레스 다 된들란 가래 민 가르다 버스도 잠베 아니 가란 저기다 남샤전도 깨라 침부다 동번이 세야지 저장가 람게 자원 넘버 숨게 나로네 당부딘 나로려야 다외 고르데 개침부지 송용 요래 되는 제세 당번 남이 나베 람 제절라도 잠베 아니 제세스도 전주 선버지 아니 전주 선버스니디 또 랑단 신이게 나로네 신기 된 쿠르드 체제 아니 랑게 된 타르침버 제니 신기 된라니 간데서 주고 제제 주디니들라 전주선버 쓰고 봐 예조선배 아니 전주선버 남라 아니 신두네 나와 슬로도선버 나와디 다 전주선들이 전주선배면 나 차샤스 전주선배면 예 신된 제도서 말했어요 저장 아란족의 신된 전대 방법 여러 디나는 아란족 그다 정말로 밀리지 편토고스지 네 마제고스 편토고스니 방법 여러데 아란족 마음발의 심진기 된지 배는 미치기 된다라 미 몸다도 사이게 시기에 미치 코랑게 된다라 가지고 제제 에는 편도친 대비 값이나 가로지니 추주 가시지니 니마 가시지는 나와 가시지는 탕체로 해주요를 띠탕 체야디 가르치니 체교를 세도 좀 심슈 차르고요. 심슈 차야디 가르치는 선은 semba 야게요 말이에요. semba 야게위는 될 천주 셈스고 봐. 세상에 어떤 적이 예세 담반놈이 아벨람기디 가르치는 천주 셈들이셨다. 어디리야 니버티치. 다 겐덴 타르도 남지 중어데 있으디 아는 아란조 다 개와도 된 바스디 좀비 랑규기 뇨모 두숨 매바 수액이 개와도 된 바. 딘데디기 아니 ngakpasil도 좀베다 디졸 매는 메타매바 아니 람디 카레스는 니중들이 대나바 숨디 당에 강토도지니 기란조라 시기인스도다 셰바 탐자바 도차로도
So here, as it is described as a sort of promise to compose, and Je Rinpoche is talking about, why the Buddha spoke with so many different kinds of teachings, and so what Je Rinpoche wants to do here is to boil down those teachings to the very essence of the Buddhism. What is the essential meaning? What are the essential points and meaning of all of the different teachings that the Buddha gave? So Je Rinpoche is trying to answer the question of why. So the Buddha spoke. Why did he give all of those huge variety of teachings, and what is the kind of essential points or essential meaning of all of that huge variety of teachings? And what that comes down to in the end is the understanding that within our ordinary people's minds there are the mental afflictions and the negative states of mind and the three poisons, and in order to counteract those negative states of mind and with the ordinary people's minds, the Buddha spoke of one's essential point or meaning, which is that of the empty nature of things, emptiness. And so here it also it talks about the view, about understanding the view of emptiness and the view of the nature of reality in order to counteract our mental afflictions. And then in the third line of the first verse, it says, the path acclaimed by all excellent bodhisattvas. So here, this is the bodhisattvas are called the children of the conquerors, and they understand. They are the ones who primarily put the welfare and interests of others first, but they also have this context in which they understand that in order, if they wish to completely fulfill their own aims and of welfare, then they must the best way to do that is to completely fulfill the ways the welfare of others. And so here it is the path acclaimed by the excellent bodhisattvas. This points to the meaning of the bodhicitta, the mind of awakening or the enlightenment mind, where it and it praises that mind of bodhicitta. So for us ordinary people, when we think about, we do have the wish to help others. There are many kinds of thoughts that arise in our mind about how to help others. We wish to benefit and we don't wish to harm. But it, but what happens is that forgetting that being realistic about our own perspective, if we think about hundreds or helping hundreds or millions of people, but just thinking about helping one person. And you think how when we try to help even one person in our lives, then after a few hours of doing that, or after a day, or certainly after a few months, we'll lose our kind of strength of mind and motivation to do that. We'll get tired because our sort of perspective, our sort of mental outlook is not vast enough to encompass that wish to be of benefit to all beings. So that there we have the mention of the bodhicitta in the third line, and in the fourth line it talks about the having the fortune. It says the gateway for the fortunate ones aspiring for liberation. So the fortunate here means the ones who are fortunate to be able to have that the virtue of wishing to be able to eliminate the negative states of mind from their continuum. So this is that's the sort of lowest sort of in terms of our Buddhist practice, that should be the lowest way of engaging, that wishing to wishing to eliminate our mental afflictions.
다 되네. 쇼로가 니버디 차르고 있어요. 간다 시비 내라 마차신 된조 tuyển 셔지 좀바 겨워지베 남도 윤데베 겐덴테다 당외 이지뉴스. 다조 당부디 인중고디 송고도 당 인중고디 송원도 점베 시비 대월이야. 다 쳐주요 말레스 송도와. 당 아주 discussion 지 최고요를. 시베 대화를 쳐주요 말이 세지. 대송도 잠베 다 시베 대화를야 ngaranzu 당원에 전에 시베 동행을 답 차고 말아 봐. 시베기 대화를 맞춰서도 잠베 당보시에는 안주 마소는 ngaranzu 탑당데 마소는 까주고 쓰르지요. 어디 ngaranzu야 또 삼당고도
So here now we look at the second verse, which reads, those who are not attached to the joys of cyclic existence, who strive to make meaningful this life of leisure and opportunity, and who place their trust in the path that pleases the conquerors, O fortunate ones, listen with an open heart. Now here, Je Rinpoche introduces this one of these other main aspects or root or main points of the practice of Buddhism, that of renunciation. And here it mentions those who are not attached to the joys of cyclic existence. So here the joys of happiness of a samsaric life, it says, not advises us not to be attached to the joys of cyclic existence. And so with this we need to examine and discuss a little bit, because we have to think, we we never we will never say that we're attached to the suffering of a samsaric life or of cyclic existence. We're only talking here about being attached to the suffering.
So what do you think?
To this happiness, sorry, to the happiness and joys.
We will take a refuge when you feel unsafe, but you feel comfortable. You feel like, wow, happiness. I'm so happy. My life is perfect. Then why still we need to think of liberation? Well, it's a big question.
Why we need to think of renunciation?
Liberation.
Liberation.
Yeah. Liberation, renunciation together.
אנחנו מבקשים מקלט כאשר אנחנו מרגישים חוסר ביטחון. אבל כרגע יכול להיות שאנחנו מרגישים שנוח לנו. אנחנו חשים אושר או רווחה אישית. אנחנו חושבים, אני מאושר, טוב לי, החיים שלי מושלמים. אם כך הוא הדבר, מדוע אני צריך לחשוב על חירות?
Long time ago, now I think probably 15, 16 years ago, His Holiness the Dalai Lama in a Tibetan village school in Dharamsala, when he was giving some teaching, right after the teaching, a Tibetan student, stood up and then asked a question to His Holiness. And he said, well, His Holiness, my life is going so perfect. I'm so happy. And because my life is so settled down and peaceful and happy, so still do you recommend me to do some Dharma practice? So, you know this, when this question is asking and then before His Holiness says something, we feel like answer that, right? So my version of answer is something like, yes, definitely you need to. But then His Holiness' answer was different. His Holiness changed his facial reaction was totally from, first he was smiling when he was listening to the question, and when he was answering, he changed his face reaction, became so serious. And then his response was, no, you don't need to. Dharma is for serious practitioners. That was his response. I was like, wow, that was so serious. So that really, I really don't know that still this boy or the man is getting this teaching. But for me, it was like a huge teaching to me. So it reminds me, whenever I cross this paragraph saying, to not getting clinged to this life's appearance, this life's happiness, samsara pleasure. So then it always reminds me this, the boy's question and His Holiness' answer. So, and now, one of the greatest teaching that Buddha has given. Do you need water? Macau? She has? Oh, okay. So the Buddha, one of the teaching that normally we are so rushed towards what Buddha taught after he is fully enlightened. But we always try to not to look at what was the biggest move of the Buddha before he became fully enlightened, before he got the renunciation, before he became a monk, before he was very comfortable in his life, before he has all the things that we really admire of in his beautiful palace, surrounded by thousands and thousands of what we call it, staffs, what we call it, servants, and then very beautiful wife, queen. And then he does not need to worry about heritage. His father is really wanted to give it to him. But Buddha wasn't happy at all. At that time, if we are a friend of Buddha at that time, we might advise Buddha, you are stupid. But the Buddha has a very different way of thinking. It's not like he can rule the kingdom, but he does not want that. So what he's so scared of, actually? So then he says, all this effort I have to put in, and then I have to die, I have to age, and then I have to go through the sickness. I really don't want all of this. So I really wanted to have an answer. The biggest thing that Buddha asked in his life is, I want no more suffering. I want the happiness with no more suffering. That was a powerful. That even these days, as a practitioner like me, oh my goodness, this is such a hard thing to bring into our mindset. This year when I was in America, one of my relatives recommended to buy this, what is that called? The lottery. I really don't know. They have this name. It's, I think, almost $1.5 billion US. So he said, we should buy that on your name. And then we bought that. And then after maybe 2-3 days later, he said, you were so close to God. Get that? So then, right after that, because I haven't won this, so I was so close. So when I was meditating, renunciation, then focus was like, if I got this lottery, then I will apply for US citizen. Then I will buy all this car, the house. Wow, it will be such a great. And then I thought like, what about the renunciation? And it takes quite a huge jump from here to there, because you feel like if I got this is the pleasure that I really need. And my way of thinking, the pleasure of a liberation is so big. So it's not an urgent thing. So what I am really looking for, the liberation, is something I felt I got a brainwash from my teachers. No genuine thing is coming out. I think the genuine renunciation comes out, and then if somebody won a lottery, he will say, what's a big deal about that? It looks like a more problem will come out. 100% sure. More you have a bigger position, more you have money in your account, more problem. You think that life is now going to go smooth? No way. It will bring lots of more problem. So now, every time when it was helpful, this my visit in America with this lottery story, I always meditate like I imagining that I won the lottery, and then there's a liberation. I try to look into that. It just was, sometimes it's very helpful. Maybe renunciation first, lottery, then it might go well. Yeah.
Okay, we will take 10 minutes break for people at home, and we will continue with the
Yeah,
teaching.
okay.